Oh dear. Oh, good day, everybody. This is Yin Yang in California with Morsels of a Thought number 1480. 1480, like the address I used to go to all the time when I was little. 1480. I want to say something about this. Today I was going to concentrate on Nero, the former emperor of ancient Rome. Nero was an emperor that really messed things up royally because he was a narcissistic guy. And check mark, check mark, check mark, by the way. This is an in joke with somebody I know. And I want to say that Nero really screwed things up, but I decided not to look him up because we just want to do what we want to do. We want to become whatever we do. Stoicism came along. Uh, it was around the time of Christ. It was actually about a century or so before Christ, or so. I think more than that. It was probably initiated around the same time as Buddhism in the East. And when I go east, I should go like that. You're looking at me, so that's west, that's east, that's north, that's south. I see. And in the Chinese way, it is Bay. It's east, south, west, north. So you can tell why I'm so confused in directions. I can't tell you right away. Yeah. And when I speak Chinese, anyway, my name is Yin Yang, and in case you don't already know, I seek to inspire you to have a great day. My inspiration comes from Duck Vong that started me on this whole thing, John Clark, that keeps me going. I've been doing this for 1,480 consecutive days early in my morning. It is currently a quarter after 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And imagine when I do it daylight time, it's even an hour earlier. An hour earlier. So we still call it 5:10 when I start an hour earlier. But if it were standard time, it would be called 4:10. Anyhow, I want to go into Epictetus. Today happens to be Monday, a holiday that we are observing Martin Luther King's birthday. Martin Luther King Jr. started leading the civil rights movement after Rosa Parks sparked it with a refusal to move to the back of the bus for being black. And she became a symbol. Martin Luther King Jr. became a symbol. And my personal commentary about his statue in Washington, D.C. is they screwed it up royally. They gave the contract to a Chinese national, a communist Chinese sculptor. What foolishness! Because he made Martin Luther King Jr.'s face look roundish like the Chinese would make it. Wilt. And that's just my commentary about it. So, good morning, John Clark. I know you realize this is very political. And JP is what he called himself for half of the time he was in the military, he says. Anyway, I want to go into Epictetus today. This is our first day of Epictetus. It is our first day of the second Trump presidency. Today will be Inauguration Day. It will occur today. President Biden is going to be former President Biden tomorrow. And today is the only day that we have two presidents coinciding with the handover of power going smoothly today, as it should be in a democratic society. The voters have spoken. Okay, so now we're at 18:20. I'm in 4 minutes already, and I still haven't gotten into Epictetus. Edited and translated by Robin Waterfield. There are other translations as well, but I'm going to read the back of this book. Have we read this before? I don't think so. Okay, so here we go. The back cover of the book says, "Some things are up to us and some are not." That's Epictetus. Epictetus was born into slavery around the year 50 CE, Common Era. Common Era. And upon being granted his freedom, he became a philosophy teacher. He is now considered the most important exponent of Stoicism, and his surviving work comprises a series of impassioned discourses delivered live and recorded by his student Arrian, Arrian, maybe Arrian, as well as the Handbook, Arrian's own take on the heart of Epictetus's teaching, edited and translated by renowned scholar Robin Waterfield. This book collects the complete works of Epictetus, bringing to modern readers his insights on how to cope with death, exile, the people around us, the whims of the emperor, fear, illness, and much more. I remember reading this to you now on the back cover, so we can go into the title page, The Complete Works. The author. Epictetus, The Complete Works, Handbook, Discourses and Fragments, edited and translated with introduction and notes by Robin Waterfield, the University of Chicago Press. And here's a picture. Let's see if I can get you to the picture a little more clearly. This way, and this way. And then I'll read the description of it. Let me tilt it properly. Okay, now, in the description it says it's a medieval illustration of a fictitious work written sometime between the 3rd and 9th centuries, entitled The Dialogue Between the Emperor Hadrian and the Philosopher Epictetus. Note the philosopher's typically unkempt appearance. Photo by Bodleian Libraries, University of Oxford. Bodleian. In the picture, it says, Disputatio Hadriani of AVG et Epicteti Philosophy. They have an F in there. Oh gosh, I can't read the Latin. Altercatio Hadriani Aveg et Epicteti Philosophy. Sounds like they're having altercatio would be argument. Now, argument does not mean a fighting argument. An argument means a discourse, a debate. And argument means a discussion. It's basically a conversation back and forth with differing points of view, not necessarily being held by the speakers, but they're saying, well, they say this, and then we say that, and then blah, 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 and then they say, oh, yeah, but I noticed that somebody other says, so that's basically what it is. So there we go. Well, I hope I'm entertaining you at least. The University of Chicago Press. I'll just read you the ISBNs. 139780226769332. That's for the cloth. And then ISBN 13-978-0226-769479 for paper. And then the ebook is ISBN 13-978-0226-769509. And then the Department of the Interior, https://doi.org/, 10.7208//Chicago/978-0226-7695009.001.0001. Library of Congress cataloging in publication data. Now, the names here are written as though Epictetus is the author. So that's why it says The Complete Works on the title page. You notice that. That's a very interesting thing. So it says that Epictetus is the author. Robin Waterfield, born in 1952, is the editor and translator. The title is The Complete Works, Handbook, Discourses, and Fragments. So it's basically by Epictetus, edited and translated with introduction and notes by Robin Waterfield. And other titles are Works in English 2022. This is the 24th printing of the 2022. This paper meets the requirements of ANSI, NISO. Okay, blah, 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 blah. And then it's the fourth printing. It's the 24th printing of something and the fourth printing of something else. I don't understand it. Let's put it this way. I don't understand it. In the contents, we have. Okay, that was a cat. That was a cat. Wow. Okay. This is going to be an interesting book, an interesting read. The preface is on page Roman numeral 11. Note on the translation is on Roman numeral 13. A map will be on page 15. Introduction on page 1. 15 was Roman numeral 15. Introduction on page 1. Handbook, page 43. Discourses, page 67. Preface, 69. 1.1, what is and is not up to us, page 71. 1.2, how to preserve conformity with one's role in every situation. 1.3, how one may proceed from the fact that God is the father of humankind to its consequences. 1.4, on progress. 1.5, against the academics. 1.6, on providence with a small p. 1.7, on the use of changing arguments, hypothetical arguments, and the like. 1.8, the fact that our faculties are not without danger for uneducated people. In other words, the people who don't know what they don't know can be in danger. 1.9, how one may proceed from the fact of our kinship with God to its consequences. 1.10. 1.10, to those who are intent on advancement at Rome. 1.11, on family affection. 1.12, on contentment. 1.13, how to do whatever we do in a way that pleases the gods. 1.14, that the deity watches over us all. It's a capital D, the deity. 1.15, the prospect held out by philosophy. 1.16, on providence. 1.17, on the indispensability of logic. Okay, remember how Marcus Aurelius spoke of the logos, which was logic, logos being the whole universe? Well, here, Epictetus has touched it a little. 1.18, one should not get angry with people for their mistakes. We're starting to see Marcus Aurelius a little bit too. Not Marcus Aurelius, but the influence on Marcus Aurelius. 1.19, the proper attitude to have toward tyrants. Can we jump to that right now for the moment, please? I want to see that. Oh my goodness. Check mark. The proper attitude to have toward tyrants is on page 113. I'm going to go to that. I'm so excited. And 113, 113, 113, 113. There we go. Ooh. Oh, I feel like I'm eating a cake. 1.19, the proper attitude to have toward tyrants. 1. Arrogance is absolutely inevitable in a person, an uneducated person, that is, who enjoys some advantage, or at least thinks he does, even if he doesn't. Number 2, a tyrant, for example, claims to be the most powerful man in the world. So, what can you do for me with your power? Can you ensure that my desires are never impeded? How could you when you can't do that for yourself? That my aversions effectively prevent the occurrence of things I want to avoid? No, because you can't do that for yourself. That my inclinations never lead me astray? I don't see that as one of your gifts. That's me talking to Mr. Orange Hair. 3, tell me, when you're on a ship, do you place your trust in yourself or in the expert? When you're on a wagon, yourself or the expert? 4, what about any other area of expertise? Same story. So what does your power amount to? I'm the focus of everyone's attention. Yes, and I attend to my plate. I wash it and dry it, and I drive a peg into the wall for my oil flask. Does that make these things more powerful than me? No, but they're useful to me, and that's why I attend to them. Don't I also attend to my donkey? Number 5. Don't I wash its feet and rub it down? Can't you see that everyone attends to his own needs and attends to you as he does his donkey? I mean, who cares for you as a person? Point him out to me. 6. Who wishes to be like you? Who takes you as a role model, as they do Socrates? But I can have you beheaded. You're right. I'd forgotten that I should attend to you in the same way that I attend to a fever or cholera, that I should set up an altar to you, just as fever has an altar in Rome, fever with a capital F. 7. What is it that's usually found troubling, even frightening? The tyrant? His bodyguards? Is that possible? Hardly. It's impossible for something that's naturally free to be troubled or impeded by anything except itself. Number 8. Only his own judgments trouble a person. When a tyrant tells someone, I'm going to chain your leg, only a person who has come to value his leg says, please, no, have mercy. But anyone who judges his will important says, go ahead, if you think that's the most expedient thing for you to do. Don't you care? No, I don't. I'll show you that I'm your master. How will you do that? Zeus has set me free. Do you really think he's going to let his own son be enslaved? You're the master of my carcass. Take that. Number 10. You mean to say that when you're in my presence, I'm not the focus of your attention? No, I'm attending to myself. If you want me to tell you that I attend to you as well, here is what I say. I give you the same kind of attention that I give my kettle. Number 11. This isn't selfishness. The creature in question was born like this. It does everything for itself. Even the sun does everything for itself, and so for that matter does Zeus himself. 12. But sometimes Zeus wishes to be the bringer of rain, the fruitful, the father of gods and men, and you can see that he can't perform these functions and deserve these titles unless he makes some contribution to the common good. I want to take a look at the asterisk that it's got here. I had a bookmark for the asterisk. Never mind. Okay. 13. And without going into details, he equipped the rational creature with a nature which is such that its own particular goods are unattainable, that's Zeus, unattainable unless it makes some beneficial contribution to the common good. 14. In which case, doing everything for oneself isn't selfish. 15. Anyway, do you seriously expect someone to neglect himself and his own interest? In that case, how could all living creatures share the same fundamental drive, namely appropriation to themselves? 16. It follows, then, that when someone entertains uncouth views about things that aren't subject to will, that is, when he labels such things good and bad, he is absolutely bound to dance attendance on tyrants. 17. If only it was just the tyrants and not their chamberlains as well, how does a person become wise all of a sudden when Caesar puts him in charge of his clothes stool? Closet stool. Closest stool. I think it means. Anyway, how come we suddenly say, Felicio had some wise words for me? 18. I'd like to see him demoted from his dung heap so that you'd regard him once more as a fool. Epictetus had a shoemaker who was so useless that he sold him. But then it so happened that the man was bought by a member of Caesar's household and became Caesar's shoemaker. You should have seen the respect Epictetus showed him. What's up, Felicio, my very dear friend? Moreover, if one of us asked, what's the master doing? He was told, he's in a meeting with Felicio. Number 22. But hadn't he sold him as useless? So who suddenly made him wise? 23. This is what happens when someone regards as important anything other than what is subject to will. 24. He's been made a tribune. Everyone who runs into him offers his congratulations. One kisses his eyes, another his neck, slaves kiss his hands. He goes home and finds lamps being lit for him. He goes up to the capital and offers a sacrifice. But who has ever performed a sacrifice in thanks for the fact that his desires went well, or because his inclinations were in accord with nature? After all, it's things we count as good for which we thank the gods. Someone was talking to me today about the priesthood of Augustus. Steer well clear of it, man, I advised him. You'll incur considerable expenses for nothing. But when bills of sale are drawn up, they'll be inscribed with my name. But you won't actually be there when people read these contracts, will you? Look, that's my name written there. And then, even supposing that you were in fact able to be physically present at every signing, what will you do after your death? My name will survive me. Carve your name on a rock and it'll survive you. But tell me, who will remember you beyond Nicopolis? But I'll wear a golden crown. Well, if you really want a crown, get a crown of roses and put it on. That'll look more chic. That's interesting because just yesterday I was watching YouTube about the printing of those benefit checks a long time ago. Biden did not put his name on those benefit checks, but in the past, for the 1400, Trump did put his name on those benefit checks. So, boy, oh boy, this is a checkmark occupation today. Okay, number 1.20. On reason and its ability to examine itself. 1.21. To those who want to be admired. 1.22. On preconceptions. 1.23. Against Epicurus. 1.24. How to combat difficult circumstances. 1.25. The same topic. 1.26. What is the law of life? 1.27. How many ways are there for impressions to arise, and what resources should we make sure we have at hand to help us with them? Fire kit. 1.28. That we ought not to get angry with people, and what is trivial or important in human life. 1.29. On self-possession. And 1.30. What we should have at hand in difficult circumstances. So what this is telling you here, in the table of contents, we're not even on the chapter 2 or chapter 3 or chapter 4 yet, in the fragments, etc. But it says that we need to have our earthquake kits, our fire kits, right there. This is some wisdom back here. So with morsels of a thought of wisdom, number 1480, I say okay, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, old Kinderhut.